Hey guys, this is Internet Friend, aka the Neat Intelligence. It is Monday, January 22nd, 2024, and I have a turquoise alert to share with you guys. This news comes to us exclusively from Neat Intelligence on YouTube and Twitter. And as you can see in this tweet here, he's saying, this is a very non-routine day for the HFGCS. Ground stations don't seem to be broadcasting EAMs, and an E6 is coming up with some unusual EAMs on its own. So what does that mean? Let's talk about this, you guys. So basically right now, it's almost 10 p.m. Going by Universal Time, or Zulu time, as the military likes to say, 2200 Zulu time, and we haven't heard a message since about 2200 January 21st coming from the HFGCS ground stations. So that's coming from Andrews Air Force Base, or maybe the backup station or the alternate net control station at the Grand Forks Air Force Base. There may also be some level of control at the other Air Force bases, but this is not normal. This is very unusual to go this long without hearing an EAM or a force direction message broadcast by those guys. Now, we know the EAMs and the FDMs, those are broadcast. Those messages go out around the world. There are relay stations such as that Sigonella Naval Air Station, Crown, Royal Air Force in the United Kingdom hosts an HFGCS broadcasting the U.S. military messages. And that is where most of these EAMs and FDMs come from. But we also know the Doomsday planes, the E6s. Let's take a quick look at how activity has been with them today. So let's take a look here. Let's zoom in a little bit if we can. So as you guys saw in the earlier post, because I know you read it, originally there were some messages that went out today. We're going to talk about them in a moment, but they're very strange. And we were wondering, perhaps these messages are coming from this here. This is a E4, a B4. It's one of the control planes. It's very scary to see in the air. Is it though? I mean, it's just a plane. Wait, I'm breaking character. So this plane, as you can see, it is doing loop-de-loops. That is the precise official military term. And I thought because it's doing the loop-de-loops, perhaps this plane is broadcasting these strange messages that we're going to talk about in a moment. But it turns out people were reporting that it was actually coming. If we can just zoom out. Can we zoom out? Yeah, we can. But it's not cooperating with me right now. See this plane? This is another Doomsday plane. This is the E6B Mercury with the hex code AE0413 using the call sign Vesta07. As you guys can see, it took a very strange flight path today. I don't know what a normal flight path is, so I don't know how I can decide what's strange or not. But I'm just saying that because it sounds impressive and spooky. Anyways, look at this guy flying around. So, folks, we know what these things are doing because actually, if you look this up, you can find that the E6s that are operating out of Tinker, they're part of the Navy's Strategic Communications Wing 1. And this is the website. You can type this in yourself. The website is airpac.navy.mil. airpac.navy.mil. And look, this is what these guys say. Our primary mission is to receive, verify, and retransmit emergency action messages to U.S. strategic forces. So that includes, the Ohio-class submarines. And those guys are getting the nuclear codes. We're not getting the nuclear codes because they haven't fired any nuclear missiles at anybody yet. Look here. We have Captain Robert Skills. We have Captain Britain, a.k.a. Brit. We have the Command Master Chief from... That guy is from Halo. That's crazy. And these guys have been flying for thousands of hours. Okay, this guy has more than 3,000 hours in all kinds of planes. He has a bunch of medals. And we know that these guys are legit because we can sometimes hear them. We can hear traffic coming from the E6s. So that gives you an idea of the important messages that are being broadcast by the E6Bs. As it says here, well, not here, as it said here, their primary mission is to receive, verify, and retransmit emergency action messages. But that's not what is happening today. What is happening today is that there have been no EAMs broadcast by the ground stations, so they're not receiving emergency action messages. So what's going on? How are they transmitting messages? So let's go back to the original post from Neat Intelligence. That's me, by the way. And let's talk about what's going on. So planes don't normally broadcast messages that aren't 30 characters, but it's not unheard of. So basically today there have been 9 messages. One of them was over 50 characters long. Another one was like 34 characters long. And then as you'll see in the second point here, 27 character messages aren't unheard of either, but this is only the third in the last 7 months. So folks, the last time we heard the 27 character EAM was in September. And before that, I think like August. And that's just in the last 7 months. It's only the third time. And now it's coming from a plane? That's bizarre. So let's take a listen at this rare 27 character message. If I can click the button. There we go. So guys, as you know, I host the live streams and they run 24 hours a day unless the power goes out or like the Mac that runs the stream crashes. And it's been doing pretty well. It's been up for like 15, 20 days, something like that. And it only crashed today, but the stream is back up. By the time you're watching this video, the stream is already back up and running like nothing happened except it's been interrupted. But let's take a quick listen at this. This is a recording that I posted to Twitter. So I will pause here and explain to you. The call sign is Fireship. And this is coming, again, this is coming from that plane that was doing the crazy flight path. You see this one? See, he should be like flying over the Atlantic Ocean over here and broadcasting messages to the Ohio-class submarines. But instead, he was flying over here and broadcasting messages. Is that even the right, excuse me. Is that the right tracker path? It looks like it. So why is he broadcasting messages? Obviously, he is not receiving, verifying, and retransmitting. What is their mission statement? Receive, verify, and retransmit. So this guy didn't receive this message unless he received it secretly. Maybe he used like a different communications network. But let's keep listening.
Sierra, Victor, Juliet, Mike, 2.
So folks, if you're new to the channel, you see how he said Sierra, Victor, Juliet, Mike 2, and up here it says SVJM2. This is called a phonetic alphabet, and that's just how it works. They say a word that starts with a letter, you just take the first letter. That's called an encrypted message. That's called a phonetic alphabet, and this is called a 27 character message, but it wasn't broadcast by the ground stations. So again, Strategic Communications Wing 1 is not receiving, verifying, and retransmitting. What if it's coming up with these messages on its own? What if there's a mutiny? What if these guys are attempting to start a new world government from their plane, and then they landed in Florida? Because Florida down there, did they land? I think they landed. Why is this cursor so? Yeah, it definitely landed. It looks like it landed. Either that or it's like flying beneath the ground because it says it's at negative 300 feet. That's stupid. So obviously, guys, if you are interested in listening to the rest of that message, it's there on the Neat Intelligence Twitter account, or you can tune into the live streams on this channel and also the archives, and you can go to that timestamp, the 1841 timestamp. And there were other times messages were broadcast today. You can go through that live stream and find that for yourself. And again, none of the messages that are broadcast by this plane, this call sign, Fireship, were broadcast by the ground station. So what's going on? I don't know. But speaking seriously, just for a moment, I do want to contextualize this a little bit. So this is not normally what happens. None of this is unprecedented, right? Like none of this is crazy. None of this is cause for anything. I don't know what the heck an aquamarine or a teal or a sapphire or whatever alert I'm going to title this video means exactly. When it comes to monitoring the HFGCS, and I've been doing this, pretty much uninterrupted for the last 7 months, I know what usually grabs people's attention and what grabs my attention. I'm not going to act like I'm completely immune to it. The busy days, 50 messages are going out today. Oh my goodness. But usually if you look at them, the messages aren't that interesting. Whereas today, on the other hand, and you'll see the title card when it's published, and I pair the title card with the Korean music so that it captures your attention and you guys look through the time card and you read the description. And that's the other thing, because I actually want to take a look at the last, some recent time cards. I'll pause that because I don't want this video to get copyright struck. But as you guys can see here, usually with these time cards, the most common call sign, that's the daily call sign of the ground station. Again, Andrews Air Force Base and or Grand Forks, and or we should assume some level of autonomy with the other stations, although it's kind of hard to quantify that. And you'll see additional call signs, trapezoid and here Ratman. I'm actually not sure that that was the right call sign. What you will typically find is that these, or what you will almost always find, these call signs, more often than not in the description, I will tell you or give you my best guess at which plane that was. And I've been doing that for at least a couple of months now. And you can usually infer it, if not outright figure it out based on what the message traffic is saying. Trapezoid, see, it's just repeating a message broadcast by Transfix earlier. Again, this is what these E6s are doing as part of Strategic Communications Wing 1. They receive, verify, and retransmit. We know this. We can look this up. This isn't me guessing. This isn't me pretending to know more than I do. It's not me kind of coasting off wisdom. I keep pointing to this website with Master Chief and Skills and Brit, Captains and Commander, Master Chief's salute, etc. Apologies if I'm being a bit too disrespectful or jovial here. Obviously, they do important work. But in this case, what you want to notice, this Ratman, which I'm not super sure of that call sign. I should have specified it on the title card. This Alpha Sierra Quebec Zulu Hotel Alpha 30 character message. This in itself, nothing really sticks out, nothing notable. There's no repeating characters, there's no couplets or anything like that, but that obviously that happens. What sticks out for me here is that this was not broadcast by the ground station. If it was, it would have said transfix like the other ground station messages. This was broadcast by a plane. As you can see in the notes below, I believe it was Alpha Echo 0416 was the hex code of the E6, just based on, whatever, comparing the flight path, the message timings to transmission, reception, etc. But this was not broadcast by Transfix earlier, so it's like, where did this message come from? So again, that was January 18th. Has this kind of thing happened before? Yes. Does it happen very often? No. And usually this kind of thing happens. It's typically like the E4s that are doing this. Those guys are up in the air. I don't know what they're doing. Maybe that's on Strategic Communications Wing 1. I don't have to pretend to know or be completely cavalier. Although I do have to say, I don't understand. I think it's because this video is tracking the mouse, and this is working very poorly. So it doesn't mention E6s, but I'm pretty sure if you click these guys' profiles, you'll talk about E4s. Isn't it the B? I'm not gonna start guessing plane numbers and crap. You guys will yell at me. So again, that was January 18th. And obviously this song is amazing, by the way. I know a lot of you, the newer reviewers who don't know what's going on, you don't understand why there's the music. You want to hear the messages. The way these time cards work is look at the times, look at the day, and then cross-reference it against the live streams. And some of you are wondering, what's with the music? Why don't you put a recording of a message? I used to do that, and people would watch for like a minute and not any longer. Some people would watch the full way through. You wouldn't even watch, like, people wouldn't even, anyways, I've already talked about it in that previous video. It is K-pop for a reason, or J-pop for a reason. This is J-pop. So that's January 18th. Moving on. Before I lose my audience. January 21st. This song is one of my favorite songs, hands down, by the way. If you haven't heard Girls Rule by Nogizaka 46, please check it out. So in this time card, actually, again noted, so the 1800 message, this was a confusing day because there were a number of E6s. This was Sunday. This was a day prior to the day I'm recording this. Number of E6s broadcasting messages. When you see one like this, it can be a little bit confusing to figure out which ones are E6s, which one is the actual ground station. And again, if I don't spell it outright in the video description, you can usually infer it. So dip tank was certainly airborne, although I'm not super sure that's the right plane, etc. No chance I'm not sure of which one it was at all. But it's the 1800 message where we see, so Splendid was the ground station, and the 1800, I'm going to just play this a little bit so that I can, there we go. 1800. Alpha Sierra 2 November Quebec 4, etc., etc. And this message was repeated a few times, three times at least this day. But what sticks out here is if Splendid is the ground station and Edgewood is an E6 that is flying and broadcasting this message, why did Edgewood broadcast the message before Splendid? That to me is strange to have happened again so quickly after the 18th. And now again, you know, this video is about January 22nd. That is the day of the Mahogany Alert. What does this mean? You know, what's going on? I don't know. I don't claim to know. I don't claim this is a cause for alarm. I don't claim this is cause for apathy. I just note it, right? I'm the stats guy, I'm the numbers guy, I'm the strange get something out of transcribing alphanumeric gibberish and turning it into this faux art project. I've enjoyed doing this. And when I do this, these are the kinds of observations I make. And I do want to give myself, I'm gonna go back into character actually, if you guys don't mind. This is exclusive news, guys. You're not gonna find this anywhere else, okay? So no one else is talking about this, no one else is acknowledging this, and Neat Intelligence is exclusively transcribing, because if we look through, you know, EAM.watch for some of the messages, there's no record. That's on the 18th. So one of the messages was broadcast on the 18th. If we go back to the January 18th time card, right, the 2320 message, they don't have it. It's not there. And if we go to the 21st, the 1800 message, Alpha Sierra 2 November Quebec 4, let's take a look. They don't have that message. Now, what they might do, because they have been doing this, some folks, I don't want to say any names, I don't want to say anything, but there's reason to believe that they're not doing their own transcriptions. They're actually scraping information from this Twitter, from this YouTube, and I have the receipts. You know, I keep these archive links. I keep an eye, because what you want to do, we want to drain the swamp, folks. We want to get rid of the bad actors. We want to get rid of folks who we don't know what their motives are, but we know we don't like them. So the sneaky guys at EAM.watch, we're watching you. We are watching you. You're not watching EAM. And for today's messages, these are, you know, if you look for search results of the messages broadcast today, they don't have them because they don't know what's going on. It's just Neat Intelligence. It's exclusive. No one else is going to tell you guys, you know, this big news, this Mahogany Alert, this sepia-toned 24 karat gold alert is exclusive to you, the viewer. We're going to keep an eye on this. We're going to continue to monitor the situation until something changes. And again, Captain Robert Skills, and Captain Britt, and Master Chief from Halo, these guys, we don't know what they're doing. You know, here they are at Naval Air Station Patuxent River, Maryland, or Travis Air Force Base, California. But we know actually the plane landed in Florida. Let's zoom in there. How did it land? We're zooming in, guys. This is high tech. Oh, it just landed. All right, so let's take a look at the Airborne Operations Center, the National Airborne Operations Center, the NAOC they call it. Let's see what's going on. So I never know if I'm using this correctly. Is this plane actually still in the air? Let's see. When it says down, like that, when it has a down arrow and the number of feet is not very big, I assume it landed, and that's the last number because it turned it off slightly before landing. And I'm sure if we just stare at this thing for like a minute, it won't move. And then that's kind of the other way I've learned to tell. You guys, I really don't understand how to use these. Oh, it moved. Maybe I'm wrong. Or is that just because I zoomed in? So we're going to continue to monitor the situation. This is a developing situation. This plane hasn't moved in 4 hours. Wait, no, that's now. Is that now? No, that's Zulu. That's like 4 hours ago. It hasn't moved in 4 hours. So could that be because it turned the transponder off? It's on a top secret mission? Yes, absolutely. And this is a top secret mission led by these gentlemen. What are they up to? Why are they doing this? Who knows? But the EAM broadcasts tell us that something unusual, non-routine is happening. And certainly, let's see here. Is it Tinker Team? Yo. Team Tinker. There we go. So this is the official account of Tinker Air Force Base. And this is how they communicate with the outside world. And they're saying that the base was closed today because of snow. So like, unlike the US Postal Service, if it's too snowy, the US military will shut down the base. This is actually where I kind of want to leave off. This isn't exactly my full guess, because we have heard. So today's call sign for the ground station, and again, you'll see this in the title card, the daily title card that I upload to this channel later. The call sign is something like butternut or buttercup. I would open the Excel spreadsheet where I keep track of things, but again, just because of the way I'm recording this video, tracking the cursor seems unwise and seems to be messing something up because it's going very slowly. I can barely control it properly. We've heard them buttercup or butternut possibly. Don't hold me on either of those. It's could be like almond nut. It's something with nuts or butter or cups. It's food along that kind of line. It's done radio checks. It's helped the plane I was just accusing of starting a mutiny in Florida. It checked out of the net, but it could maybe not be broadcasting emergency action messages for lack of personnel because apparently it's a snow day at Tinker. But that doesn't super make sense because that's not where the HFGCS control station is. That's at Andrews Air Force Base and or Grand Forks. So technically that doesn't super line up, but what I could have done before I started recording this video is just check the weather at Andrews. Maybe it's also lousy. Does Andrews Air Force Base have a Twitter account? If I can just control this cursor fast enough. I don't know. It doesn't look like they actively maintain it for mundanities. So not super sure. But like, this is my guess still, nonetheless, that this snow day has something possibly to do with it. On what level, not great. So I'm not 100% sure. I'm not telling you this is the answer, but like, this is my guess. One of a few other guesses for what could be going on. But certainly it is notable that we've gone about 24 hours during a weekday, like this lap over, into Monday, regular Monday through Friday, to not hear any AM from the ground station. It is unusual to hear a 27-character emergency action message. It is very unusual to hear such a message broadcast by a plane, especially when it's not being broadcast by a ground station. It is unusual to hear EAMs being broadcast by plane that were not prior broadcast by the ground station, because again, that kind of is outside of the primary mission of Strategic Communications Wing 1. So what are they doing there? I wish I knew, honestly. I don't. That's a cool title. I think it's funny that like you load up this Navy website and just on the front page, this guy's like, yeah, my nickname is Skills. I wonder if this is one of the voices we hear. I don't know. It would be funny if this actually, like that kind of joke where earlier I played the recording of them making animal noises. That's real, by the way. Like, if you look up the live stream on January 5th, that's not me. This isn't editing. This isn't me being cute or funny. That is actually what you would have heard if you tuned into 9031 kilohertz that day. And that was coming from E6's. And yeah. So one thing I want to note before I wrap this video up is obviously the tone here is a little bit of a joke, but I will say I did consider putting this out as like a red alert or like an emergency alert, and obviously the parody / tribute to NY Prepper is intended. But I don't know how some newer folks would have reacted to such a thing. I'm sure at least a few people would have thought that it's a bit too clickbaity and kind of a false alarm type thing. So hopefully the fact that this is titled Aquamarine or whatever color it is that I settle on gives you kind of a cadence that, not cadence, but the implication is, I do find today interesting, but I'm never going to claim to know more than that in terms of what's going on or any inference about what's mean or anything like that. But again, when you monitor the HFGCS in the way that I do, it's not really the days with 100 or whatever messages that are broadcast that I think are a big deal, because most of those messages are repeats. It is really genuinely like today there's only been 9 messages, but it's more how they're being broadcast, who is broadcasting them, and trying to figure out why they might be broadcast in the way they are. Find that very interesting. And if you review the archives that are plentiful on this channel and the previous channel, which are combined into playlists on this channel, hopefully you'll get an appreciation, if you don't already, for why I find this interesting. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys today. And until next time, guys, remember the 3 Ps: Korean pop music, Japanese pop music, and Chinese pop music. Thank you, and God bless.